What's up? Of course, you know I'm Marvin. This is Courtney. Today we've been talking about it for a couple days. Basically sharing our testimony. Because of course it was the both of us, and we're pretty much talking about the journey, that the things that we had to go through dealing with COVID-19.
From his point of view and from mine.
Honestly, it's a very emotional topic for us because we went through it, and I was the one that had COVID-19. She was the one that was taking care of me, risking her life every day, making sure I was okay. And I appreciate you for that.
Just doing what I do, you know.
So,
What?
it's a tough topic.
It is. What that
Starting
is?
to think about everything. Okay. So
It started on the.
I don't know the exact date that it started.
Well, I do, cause I kept a log of everything that was happening, but it started on the 7th of April, and that was on a Tuesday. That's when you started getting the scratchy throat, and it was a little cough, like he was just coming down with a cold. But Wednesday was the 8th, I believe, and that's when you got the body aching, and you were fatigued, like tired, and you didn't even do nothing but just go. We went to your first job, but you weren't like physically doing anything.
Okay, I remember. All right, so pretty much, if you've been on our YouTube, you can see the video called Smacks or Facts. We recorded that video the day before I got sick, and
Like literally the day before.
actually the night before I got sick. Like I was out, and if you look closely in that video, you can tell that my eyes are kind of glossy and dark. I was feeling fine, but my body, little did I know, my body was finna take a different turn, and my life was honestly finna change. So with that being said, we
I'm looking.
okay. With that being said, the very next day, which was a Wednesday, yeah, because we did Smacks and Facts on a Tuesday, and that Wednesday is when I started feeling bad. So I slept. Honestly, I went to work Wednesday morning. I wasn't feeling myself, and I just wasn't feeling like myself, and I was just headache, just wasn't feeling good. My body was fatigued after all of that sleep. So I called my boss and I said, hey, I really don't feel good. I tried pretty much, can I try it tomorrow? And of course he let me go home, but then Friday I woke up and I still wasn't feeling good. I was actually feeling a little worse, so I called him and let him know, like, hey, I'm going to the doctor probably Saturday, which I ended up going to the doctor the next day. What?
That night you slept all evening. You remember you tried to eat dinner, but you couldn't taste anything.
Oh, yeah.
He told me, but I misunderstood.
She wasn't listening because she was busy. She was busy doing something, and I said,
I thought you said you did not like the taste of it, but you said you couldn't taste it.
Yeah, I couldn't taste it. Neither can I smell it. But still, it didn't register. When you get a cold, or if you've ever had pneumonia or anything like that, you lose the sense of taste and you lose the sense of smell. It all depends on how bad your cold is. So I just thought, even I've had pneumonia before, so I just thought that I was probably getting pneumonia.
And I was basing it off of you saying
that I had pneumonia.
How you felt when you had pneumonia.
So I woke up, I was hungry. I had an appetite, but I bit into the food. It honestly tasted like I was chewing rubber. Like I didn't taste anything, and I tried to smell it. Excuse me, and I couldn't smell it. So I just went back in the bed and laid down. I will say this. The same night, like Wednesday night, Courtney didn't sleep in the bed, and Thursday night you didn't sleep in the bed, which is a great thing.
Night I fell asleep on the sofa.
Yeah, and that's why I said it was nothing but God, because she fell asleep on the sofa and she just didn't move after that. So let's fast forward a little bit. I was feeling a lot worse. My body had started aching worse.
You developed a fever.
I developed a fever. And that's when things started to get really scary, because my fever spiked. I think one day I didn't have a fever. The next day my fever spiked to like 103. 102.3. And that's when I knew that I needed to go to the doctor. So I went to the doctor.
You had a radio station temperature?
Yeah, I said I had.
That's why I remember it.
I said I had a radio station temperature, and y'all, forgive me if I pause a little bit, y'all. This is.
It's emotional.
This is. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy, the way that I felt. So, to continue with my testimony just a little bit, I'm gonna pretty much give y'all the whole story on how I felt and why I really think you should take this thing very serious. So I ended up going to the hospital
that Saturday,
and they didn't really do anything, but they checked me. They gave me some Tylenol for my temperature. They thought I had the flu. They tested me for the flu. And after they did the flu, of course, some time go by. I think about 15, 20 minutes ago by, and the lady come in the room. She said, I'm finna test you for COVID.
Well, they tested you for flu, pneumonia, and strep.
No, they didn't test me for strep.
Oh.
They just tested me for flu. And they did a scan for my pneumonia.
Oh. I didn't go with him.
Of course.
To the ER.
So,
and I felt bad.
You gonna make me forget now.
Okay.
So after a lady came in the room about 15, 20 minutes later, suited and booted, like everything on. And I'm like, oh Lord, what's going on? So she tested me for COVID. The worst experience I've ever had was my first time getting tested for COVID. It was a Q-tip that about this long, and that lady stuck at least half of that up my nose. And it was so uncomfortable. My nose was burning. I would not say that it was comfortable at all. But of course, the test doesn't come back in hours. It doesn't come back in a day or two. It takes 7 days for this test to come back. So in those 7 days that I waited to come back, I went home, and they sent me home with some antibiotics to take, which didn't really help me any. It was pretty much bad. Like, I didn't eat for those 7 days. I really couldn't do anything for myself because it was like my body had completely shut down. And still at this point I'm thinking I got pneumonia because I've had pneumonia and my body did the same thing.
And
when I've had pneumonia, and we were treating it like pneumonia. So fast forward to the 17th, which was one of the scariest days of my life. One of the most y'all, I can't really even explain the way I felt. So I get the phone call from the doctor or the nurse or whoever called me. I don't even remember who called me. And I'm thinking, this lady finna tell me I got pneumonia. I prayed. Mama praying, wife praying, cousins praying, aunties, uncles praying.
Everybody.
Brothers, sisters praying. So
we had a prayer conference call.
So I get the phone call. I'm calm on the phone. She said, sir, of course she took my information, make sure I was who I say I was. And she said, sir, you tested positive for COVID-19. At that moment, my whole life changed. My whole attitude changed. Everything changed. So I just hung up the phone, and I didn't even call Courtney. I just sat there and honestly cried. Just crying. Because I'm scared at this point because I can't move. I have all the symptoms at this point except for the breathing. I was headaches, body aches, coughing, sneezing, whatever you want to call it. Muscle weakness. I wasn't eating at the time. This is like day 7 or day 8 that I have not eaten anything. Literally, I have not eaten anything, maybe some grapes and a couple pineapples, but that came up, and just water that was coming out. So it was like no nutrition at all. So my body was, this right here let you know how my body did. Before I got sick, I was around, I ain't ashamed of my weight, I tell you.
343.
And that's just from laying in the bed, not eating anything, not being able to pretty much fend and care for myself. Hey, everybody that's saying hey.
We appreciate y'all for tuning in. I was trying not to call any specific names.
So I waited about a good 30 minutes before I called Courtney. And I didn't call her back to the room. I called on the phone. And
because I couldn't be around.
I couldn't even get it out telling her as soon as I said COVID-19, I broke down. And she's trying to, the way she is, she wants to know what they said. So she's asking me right away what they said. Let me get my cry out first. I gotta, I had to get it out first. Excuse me. I had to get it out first, and as soon as I got it out, I explained to her what they said and what I need to do, and basically all she told me was to stay home and quarantine.
No, she said.
That's all she said.
See, I'm trying to figure out what you needed to do, to protect me and to get you back on track. She said, keep doing what y'all been doing. We looking like,
yeah.
That's it?
That's it. She said, stay home, quarantine. And I said, we have been doing that. And she said, okay, well, keep doing what you need to do. And I said, well, do I need to come to the hospital? She said, no, there's nothing that we can really do. So I'm like, there's nothing you can do. That's the worst thing you can tell somebody that's going through the situation is. And then, of course, you're hearing about all these people dying from COVID-19. So after that, she called my mom.
Oh, me.
Courtney told my mom, and I'm still on the phone at this time. I break down again when I talk to my mom. Then she called my big brother, and I broke down again. But one thing he did tell me that stuck with me was, your mama ain't raised no punk. Your mama ain't raised nobody that's soft. Your mama ain't. She instilled fight in us, and taught us to never give up. So that stuck with me, and it still sticks with me to this day. But at the same time, when it's all said and done, you're in the room with these 4 walls by yourself. Now this is where it gets a little deep for me, and it was hard for me to tell my wife this. It was hard for me to tell my brother. It's hard for me to tell my mom that, honestly, I asked God to go ahead and take me away because of the pain that I was feeling. And I begged him for 3 days straight, God, please just let me take my last breath. But of course I didn't, because I'm still here. Thank you.
But you could
and you can see that if Courtney can see that I had given up, but she didn't let me give up. So I don't know if she texts my mama. I don't know if she texts anybody, but my phone started blowing up like.
Oh no, because the only person I was talking to at that time was Daddy.
Yeah, so my phone started blowing up. Mama calling, aunties calling, uncles calling, Brothers calling, sisters calling, everybody's calling, and they wouldn't let me have peace. And
I'm trying to look in.
they really wouldn't let me have peace. So shoot.
Which part?
They kept, you know, I'm just getting a little too emotional for me, but at this point, you know, my cousin's at the back window, at my room window, knocking on the window, praying. She has my mom on the phone. She has all my aunties and uncles on the phone. She's praying, and I really,
I was at this window.
like, you know, Courtney standing at the other window with my uncle. He praying. Everybody's just praying for me, and it was, y'all, it was tough, y'all. It was tough to go through every symptom,
Like
and
every single one.
still be alive. That is my greatest accomplishment through the grace of God. And I don't know if everybody on this live believes in God. I really don't. But I will tell you that that man is real. He, you know, as soon as, like I said, I talked to him for 3 days, begging him. And on that 4th day, it was like I heard a voice say, "Nah, not yet." And it's giving me chills now because I've never experienced that. You know, I grew up in the church. Mama had me in the church. I was in the choir, y'all. You know, that was when I was younger. Then I grew a little older and I wanted to be bad. I wanted to give my mama a hard time and all of that good stuff.
It's no question. It's just.
It was, you know, it was just something that came over my body, and things got scary again. But, you know, and the way they got scary, this is the last symptom that I had, is the breathing.
Oh God.
Y'all, I was in the room normal. Like, I was just normal, fine. The next second, it was like a split second, I started coughing. I could not stop coughing. So I finally stopped coughing for like 2 seconds to yell out Courtney's name. So I yelled out her name.
Well, you were using the bathroom because you were in the bathroom.
No, I hadn't got to the bathroom yet.
When I came back, you were in the bathroom.
No, I'm saying when I called your name, I was walking to the bathroom.
Oh, okay.
So I got out of the bed. Granted, I wasn't laying the way I was supposed to lay. Everybody that I've talked to that's dealt with COVID, even my good friend DJ and his wife, they told me to lay on my chest. My mom told me to lay on my chest. Courtney told me to lay on my chest. I was laying on my back, but I was a little like linked up a little bit. I wasn't laying completely flat because I was tired of laying on my chest and my stomach because it had gotten uncomfortable at this time. So I was laying on my chest, and it felt like something just went down the wrong pipe, like I swallowed some spit wrong or something like that. And I just started coughing. I yelled out her name in that split second that I had. I said, "Courtney, call mama. I can't breathe."
And it took me because every time I went in the room, I didn't have anything except
a mask,
a
gloves,
a raincoat, and gloves.
That's it.
And the raincoat was just to keep, you know, if he coughed or something, keep it from getting on my clothes. But by the time he called me, I had to, because I would take it outside to disinfect it. And I had to run outside, put everything on, then get back there. By the time I got back there, he's leaning over the toilet, like literally could not catch his breath. So, well, that's when you said.
That's when I said call. I said call mama.
And we tested his oxygen. It kept teeter-tottering between 89 and 90. So she said go ahead and call the ambulance.
But no, y'all called Precious first.
Oh yeah,
and she
told
doctor.
us to go ahead
and she
said go ahead and get him to the ER.
This is how you know I still had a little sense of humor at that time. I'm doing a lot of talking now. My breath's starting to get short, so I'm gonna have to stop in a minute. I'm good. Hold on. My mom and my cousins on the phone. They just talking. I say, hey, this is how you know I still had a little sense of humor at that time. I'm doing a lot of talking now. My breath's starting to get short, so I'm gonna have to stop in a minute. I'm good. Hold on, catch my breath. So this is how you know I still had a little sense of humor. So Courtney, my mom, and my cousins on the phone. They just talking. I say, hey, y'all better call somebody.
You said y'all better do something.
Y'all better do something. I can't breathe. Y'all sitting up here debating if Courtney should take me to the hospital or ambulance come get me.
But at first he was okay enough to get up and get to the car. I wasn't worried about what I had on. I just need to get him to the ER.
I couldn't get to the car when I stood up. When I tried to stand up.
I went to the living room to get my phone, and I was on the phone calling.
My breathing dropped down to 82.
To tell them never mind about the ambulance because I had already called. By the time I got back to the room, because we had the tester on his finger to test his oxygen. It dropped down to 82.
Dropped down to 82. That's when.
Y'all, that was the scariest thing ever just to know he couldn't breathe and I couldn't do nothing. And it happened in a split second. So I had to call 911 again and tell them never mind to send the paramedics. They came in. They came in. Well, first he asked me, was I positive? I was like, I don't have any symptoms as far as I know, but well, of course they did still come in, suited up or whatever, but from y'all trying to keep calm, trying to keep Marvin calm, because if he had to happen to have an anxiety attack, it would have made it worse. So I'm trying to keep him, keep him calm, keep him breathing while he's trying to get oxygen. And he didn't see it, but honestly it got lower than 82 while he was trying to give him oxygen. And I was still standing there, on the inside. I was panicking. Marvin couldn't tell, but
because I was panicking.
Well, yeah,
I was terrified. And cause I looked down, I had the thing on my finger, and I was bent over the toilet, and I lifted my finger to see. When I seen 82, that's when I started to go.
That's when it was 84.
No, it was last time I looked at it, it was 82.
Okay,
and
well,
that's when I started panting, and you were trying to tell me to calm down.
And I don't know if y'all know this or not, but all human beings' oxygen should be 90 or better.
90 or better.
So I was
89 is dangerous.
Yeah, I was already panicking because when he was teeter-tottering between 89 and 90, it was like literally flashing 89, 90. And I was like, well, let me take it off and put it back on. So we did that, and it was still doing it. So that's when I called his mom. And I was like, Mom, I don't know. Like, I said, it's going to 90, but it keeps going to 89. It's like literally like flashing. And that's when we called his cousin. And she's like, well, go ahead and get him to the ER. But I couldn't even, I literally walked from the room. I moved him enough to get his bottoms on because, of course, I didn't want my husband to go out, without any clothes. But I was like, Marvin, just hold on
my shorts and my hat. That's all.
He was like, baby, just give me my shorts and my hat and put some socks on. And I'll put my slides on. But we were able to laugh in a moment. He was still trying to breathe, but we were able to laugh in a moment. But I was like, all I need you to do is just hold on to the sink, and I'll get everything up on you. Like, I don't need you to move. Just try to focus on breathing. and I'll get your clothes on.
Yeah, it was so
I don't
bad
even know how I
that
got your socks on. Like
it was so bad that standing up would make me lose my breath. Like, just simply getting up out of this chair, I could not breathe. I had to be completely still without. Now, this is, long story short, they came in, the paramedics came in and put me on oxygen. My oxygen started going up. My panic level started going down. Because I see fear in my wife's eyes. I see it. She's not really showing no emotion, but I see it. Because, of course, I've been with her, we've been together 6 years, right? No, we've been together 5 years.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, this year will be 5.
This year will be 5, but we've been together for 5 years.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you've been with your partner and you pay attention to them, you kind of know their emotions and how they feel. My wife has never seen me this emotional. Let's get that clear now. Like, I think before this, the most emotional I've been has been when we got married and when my dad passed. And even when in those 2 days, you might have got 1 or 2 tears out of me. That's it. About one or two tears out of me, and man, that's I cried almost every other minute because it was so scary. So they to continue, you know, what was going on. They got me on the oxygen. My oxygen level started going up. Like I said, my panic level went down.
They got it up to 94 before they put you in the ambulance.
Yeah, so they got it up to 94. They kept me on the oxygen. Got me to the hospital. Without the oxygen, my oxygen level was still like a 91, 92. But it was still hard for me to, you know, catch my, you know, I couldn't take a consistent breath. So I'm not on oxygen when I get to the hospital. They took me off oxygen. It wasn't until they told me that I was going to get admitted into the hospital that they put me back on oxygen. I have a problem with that, but I'm not going to speak on that because I'm here, not going to complain. But that's when I got admitted into the hospital. I stayed.
Oh, and I could not go. Like,
yeah, nobody can come visit you. You can't see your family. I really didn't. She tried to FaceTime me. I think I stayed on the phone for like 10 seconds and said,
I'm just tired. Like,
I'm just drained. I can't talk. I can't even hold the phone. So
I know at
my
one
breath
point.
getting short.
Yeah, I know. I think you said to try to drink some water.
Yeah.
I know at one point I just told him, I don't even want you to talk. I just need you to hold the phone.
Where's the water?
You can just have another. I'll get another. I was like, I just need you to hold the phone. I just need to look at you, cause not being able to go was like.
That was a hard part.
Yeah.
That was a hard part, and I wasn't answering the phone. That was another part for the scary part for them because it was some points like I had set my phone too far and I'm too weak to reach it.
But I called the nursing station.
So she called the nursing station, and then they called the room, and the phone just kept ringing. So I think I finally just picked it up, and I talked to them of course I couldn't talk long. Like if you called me during that time, you know, thank you for the calls, but I couldn't talk, so I didn't answer the phone. It was probably best to text me, and I wasn't texting back people until like 3 or 4 days later. But for instance, I couldn't say, "Hey, that dog is sitting over there." I couldn't say that.
Short elementary sentences.
I could not say anything like without gasping for air or coughing really bad. So I just was quiet. You know, I didn't say anything.
But I'm glad I know you, cause
why?
Like sometimes I didn't have to ask you a question. I just look at you like.
Oh yeah, I'll let you know I'm straight.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I let her know I was good. And listen, y'all, I know my wife. Even when I wasn't good, I tell her I'm good. Lying. So the hospital was the worst night of my life. well, one of the worst nights. I wasn't gonna say the worst night, but it was one of the worst nights. The, not to take nothing from anybody. They were just busy. It was really busy on the floor, and I couldn't get up to use the restroom on my own, so I have to wait
for assistance.
For assistance. So it was, and then I'm coughing really bad, and my breathing level go down. I got a call, and I still have to wait for assistance. The wait time was a little long, so it was just
a little longer than expected.
Yeah, just a little, just a little longer than expected. So it was just a bad night. I couldn't stop coughing. I couldn't stop throwing up. The only thing good about that night is they gave me a soda, and they gave me a soda. And when Courtney found that out, oh my God.
No, cause I called. Okay.
Oh my God.
Because they gave us a time frame. Okay, every time I did call the nursing station, I would beep his mama in because
somebody had to have some sense on the phone. Like not to say that they didn't have sense, but they thought process.
Together we were a team. But if it would just been me by myself or her by herself, it's no telling what would have came out of my mouth. But it was stressful. But I know the night the lady told me, mind you, while he was home, I had been giving him nothing but water, Pedialyte, and coconut water, and maybe tea when we
hot tea.
Yeah, hot tea. This lady told me, well, he does have a bad case of pneumonia. I mean, we knew he had pneumonia with it, and that's actually what made it worse than what it was, because he had pneumonia with it, but we didn't know it had gotten that bad. Full blown pneumonia. Plus
barely
COVID.
See my lungs pneumonia.
And she told me, well, he had started breathing okay. We gave him a Sprite. Then he started throwing up. I said, a Sprite? Why did you give him a Sprite? Like, that's nothing but acid.
The doctor told me I was on a regular diet, and I took advantage. You hear me?
I said a Sprite. Like a cold Sprite?
Yeah, cold Sprite.
When they say
I wasn't supposed to be drinking anything
nothing
cold,
but warm or hot, and you give him a cold, fizzy, bubbling Sprite,
with ice,
with crushed ice. I said, oh,
with ice.
I said, oh, okay. I don't think he was supposed to have that. Yeah. And she kind of got quiet, like, you know that you've been working. Yeah, it took everything. It took everything in me not to, cause it wasn't her who I was talking to who gave him the Sprite.
Yeah, cause she didn't get it. The nurse didn't give me the Sprite.
They were switching. They were. It was a shift change. So, yeah, it took everything in me not to have a smart mouth, as my daddy says. But it was gonna be more than smart, because after that, it was like constant coughing, constant throwing up, and the Sprite is what triggered it.
Yeah.
And I was and it pissed me off because I couldn't be there. I'm talking on the phone. It's like, why would you do that? Why? Like, okay, at that point, April, okay, COVID-19 technically it started October of 2019. So between October, December, January, February, March, we're in April. Y'all didn't know you're not supposed to have anything cold, but you give them a cold Sprite with ice in it, which made it colder. Okay. Y'all want to go out to that hospital so bad and couldn't.
But after that, I mean, a lot of throwing up, a lot of coughing, a lot of can't breathe.
But it was a good thing he was throwing up, because he needed to get that mucus off his lungs. It's just the way the throwing up came about that was a little disturbing, I'll say. Yeah, I think they were trying to take him out with that Sprite.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, like I said, between my mama and my wife, and my cousin, You know, those three right there. I mean, granted, they did as much as they could. My, away from the house, but Courtney in the house actually having to deal with me calling her late nights, me waking up in bad coughs and all of that.
Setting alarms. Like
setting alarms
I was
to
getting up at like
take medicine and all of that good
2,
stuff.
3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning.
So that part was bad, but the next morning, I stayed in the hospital through that night. I stayed in the house that night. I mean the hospital that night, and then most of the next day I didn't. They came in the room and told me about 3:30, and told me that my wife is coming to pick me up. After I have told them I don't. Yeah, y'all keep me here in case something happens. My wife can't give me breathing or nothing like that, like y'all can. So just keep me here. No, you're going home. That's pretty much what they did.
We don't see any other reason.
Yeah,
because he didn't know this, but I even called up then. I was like, are y'all sure? Like, he literally needs oxygen to breathe at this point, and you're sending him home. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. We're just gonna send him home with oxygen.
Well, so they sent me home with oxygen.
I said, and that's it. And yes, ma'am. And we're going to prescribe him. What you got, like 2, 3 different medicines, and we're gonna give him an asthma pump.
Pain medicine for the fever, and medicine for the coughing.
I was like, well, okay, and someone should be calling you to deliver the oxygen. Okay, yeah. And then when the lady, Marvin didn't know this part, but when the lady got here with the oxygen, honestly, I didn't feel comfortable even using it, because she was in, of course she came in suited up. I mean, I had on my mask, and was that just my mask? I don't know, I had on my mask, my N95 mask, and I was just looking at her like, she was trying to rush to explain how to use it, and I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna take in as much information as I can. I guess I'll YouTube the rest, or go from, seeing it done here and there. But they provided him with 2 transportable oxygen tanks and 1 for in the room, and I had to get oxygen. I couldn't pick him up until I got the oxygen, because we didn't know how his breathing was going to be on the way home, and we only live probably 5-6 minutes from the hospital.
10 if the lights catch you.
10 if the lights catch you on medicine. But it was just, I was just really disappointed. And they try to, get feedback and reviews. Oh, you're going to get a review. You're going to get some feedback, and it's going to be 100 straight, raw, no chaser. Like, I was, because I'm just looking like, I've never personally used oxygen before. I've experienced a few people using oxygen in my family, but when they were using it, they were going downhill already, so that made it worse. And I'm like
older people.
Yeah, I'm like, so does this mean he's dying because you're giving him oxygen? Like, what?
It just mean I can't breathe. Meaning if I don't have it, I'll probably die.
Yeah. So what if I didn't? What if I didn't know to put the key on it and turn it to on? Make sure it's full. Make sure it's doing a little. What is it? Yeah. What if I didn't know that? I would have killed you.
Out of there.
She was just in a rush to. She signed. I signed the paperwork so fast. I was like, Lord, I don't know what I'm signing. I'm gonna have to go back and read it, because I don't know how most of you are, but I'm the type of person, whatever I'm putting my signature on, I'm gonna read it from A to Z. And all I could read was name and date, and she was ready to go. I ain't say nothing.
I came. After that, I came home, and
let's not mention that one.
We ain't gonna mention that. I came home, and as soon as I got home, got in the room, got settled, I was already feeling better. So I will say that it was meant for me to be home. It wasn't meant for me to be in the hospital, because like that was one of my worst nights, and I had a better rest of the day, and actually that was probably my first day sleeping. And when I this is when I think that's probably after that next day I started feeling a little better.
You had no choice. I was home.
You know, I mean, they went old school, y'all. Turpentine.
Shout out to Auntie Pat.
You know, you know, my muscles were bad. You know, if I lift my leg up, it looked like my muscle was detached from my bone.
It was just
like this was my muscle. This was my leg, but my muscle was all like hanging down here. That showed how much I didn't walk. I didn't really have any kind of physical action at all. So the next couple of days go by. They were still bad. They were still like coughing, you know, breathing. But day 5, day 6 after being home with the oxygen, I think that's the picture that everyone saw when I was finally able to stand up, walk outside, get some fresh air, and I stood up. And my mama, what my mama say, stand up, I want to see how much weight you lost, or something like that. So I stood up. Courtney snapped the picture while I was standing up, and I was like, well, it's only right to post a picture that, you know, that was symbolizes that I was on the, you know, everything is down here from now. So I was feeling better. And then I think day 6 or day 7, I started sneaking, taking the oxygen off because it was so uncomfortable. I started sneaking, and when I heard Courtney got them Crocs. She had them Crocs on, and if she ain't had a Crocs on, she had her slides on, so I could hear walking down the hallway. So I tried to sneak and put it on before she got there. And I think one time she came in the room, why your eyes she look like that? And I had it all twisted.
Look, y'all look. I wish I could go get it with the leftover cords out of the house. Y'all, I come in the room, he laying at his phone like he ain't doing nothing. I said, why your oxygen?
That thing was
I said, why your oxygen look like that?
I'm looking at
He had one in one nostril, the other one was like leaning, and it wasn't even on his ear. I'm like, he was like, baby, I can't even lie. I had it off.
I had it off.
Why? And I'm sitting up here in the living room chilling like you breathing okay.
I had it off. I said, forget it.
But honestly, I wasn't even mad. I saw that as another step forward.
I was ready to take that stuff
because he was trying to wean himself off of it. He didn't want to become dependent on it. I didn't either.
They gave me an asthma pump that I never used. I ain't $55. Somebody need an asthma pump.
Right. But yeah, I wasn't even mad. I didn't even fuss. I was just like, well, you could have at least said something, because
yeah.
What if I would have came back here and you struggling to breathe and the oxygen hanging?
You gotta realize that I was depending on you with everything. Brushing my teeth, helping me wash my behind, showering. You know, I couldn't do nothing by myself. So I was like, I can lift my arm up, take this oxygen. I can do that. So I pulled that thing on out, and I hear them footsteps coming down there. Then another thing.
How many times did you do
about
that?
3 or 4.
Okay.
And then I hear the dog, because, you know, when Courtney gets up, our dog Duke, and I won't hear Marley, but I can hear Duke coming down the hallway. When I hear Duke coming, I slide it on. And if I don't hear her steps, I take it off. Then, because I don't know, my dogs are smart, man. Well, one of them are smart. And you can kind of tell that they hadn't seen me at this point. They hadn't seen me in over pretty much a month. And when he saw me, he almost knocked me down because he jumped on me. And my body is so weak, he almost knocked me down. If it wasn't for the wall behind me, he would have knocked me down. And he was just trying to give me a hug. And Courtney said, "Dude, get in."
I thought
Get away from
because
him.
I don't know what I was trying to do, but I thought he had knocked you down on the
He
ground.
said, get away from him.
And dude looking at me like, what you mean?
So to fast forward everything, I'll go ahead and, I mean, that's pretty much the worst of it. I still did a lot of coughing. I still couldn't say a lot of sentences until like mid last week. Like Wednesday or Thursday of last week, I can say a complete sentence without getting. I would have to be sitting down. I couldn't walk and have a conversation. I would have to be sitting down. I this week was probably the most that I've talked. And I've been calling everybody, y'all. I've been everybody. FaceTime my mama, FaceTime my brothers, my nieces, my nephew, just calling everybody. Everybody probably like, dog, bro, you never called me this much. It's a difference. I'm a different me. Watch your mouth. So let's fast forward to today. Me personally, I feel like I'm completely over it. My muscles are getting back. I'm doing exercises here and there that were instructed for me to do. Oh yeah, this. Let me take you back a couple days. I sprained or pulled my calf muscle in my left leg by just trying to walk, y'all. I'm talking about just trying to take a step, and I pulled it so bad that I thought the worst possible thing. Like, y'all, I woke up and my leg was throbbing. Could not move it. I could not stand on it. I could not, so
I just thought you had a cramp.
Yeah, so come to find out, I ended up having a bad muscle sprain by just trying to walk. So that's another thing. It does affect your muscles. It does affect your mind. You're in the room by yourself. You're confined in the room by yourself for out of 24 hours out of the day. I was in the room for 24 hours out of the day. So it messes with your mind. It messes with your emotions. It messes with your faith. It tests your faith. Anything that you can possibly think of, COVID-19 tests that. Period.
And tested me, and I didn't even have it.
Even though she didn't have it, she still had to deal with it. And like I said, I went through every step, from the coughing to the headaches to the body aches to the not breathing to the fever to everything. I went through every symptom it was as far as COVID-19. So, like I said, I'm gonna fast forward back to today. I feel like I'm, if not 90%, probably 95% recovered. I feel great. I feel better than I felt in the past month and a half. My breathing is a lot better. I'm doing a lot of talking now, so I'm starting to get short of breath. But it was just a test of faith, and I encourage everyone to take it serious, because I don't know. I was too close to death not to have faith in God, y'all. That's just pretty much to sum it up. I was too close to giving up, calling it quits, to not have faith in God. So,
and just from me looking at him, he just looked lifeless. Like,
yeah, I was pale. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. And I hadn't eaten. I went a span of almost 15 days of not eating and having a fever.
No, nothing. No water, no nothing. Nothing would stay down.
No, nothing.
It was either
almost
coming
15
out.
days.
Either way, it was coming out.
15 days, no moving, no. I couldn't. All I can do was lift my arm up, grab my phone, Siri, call wife, and that was pretty much it. I couldn't do anything for a complete 15 days.
I think that wasn't the hardest part, but not sleeping in the same bed.
Can't hug, can't hold hands.
Nothing.
Can't do nothing. Everything she's handed me is like full extension, like,
Even with all my stuff
yeah,
on,
and she'll
like,
put, like, if I needed something to drink, or she'll put my medicine on the nightstand. I have to grab it off the nightstand and try to sit up a little bit to take it. That type of stuff. So, with that being said, y'all, I survived. We survived. Through the grace of God, we now we're even stronger. We're even closer. We understand that we definitely love each other, y'all.
yeah.
We definitely love each other. And family is probably, my wife is number one always. Family's definitely number two. Because they came through clutch.
Even the friends
I'm
that
talking
are
about,
like family.
like, even friends that are like family. And when I say family, I mean all my people. Because if you're a close friend of mine, I call you family. That's just it. So with that being said, man, with people calling and checking on you, that gives you that lights a fire inside you to let you know that you need to keep fighting. You don't need to give up. You got people out here that love you. You got people out here that's dependent on you. Get your behind up and do what you need to do and get better. So that was it, and I don't, if you have any questions, like, I think we put Q&A on here as well.
we did, but
oh, we did. I think we was gonna do that at the end.
Well, yeah.
So it's at the end now. I'm about done. Yeah. That's my testimony, y'all. That's what Marvin Davis went through as far as going through COVID, and that's what she also went through as far as having to take care of me during COVID-19. So, like I said, protect yourselves. Wear a mask if you go out.
Gloves are a no.
Do not wash your hands. Sanitizer. Do not touch your eyes. Your mouth is covered, but your eyes are not. So, I discovered that I have a bad problem rubbing my eyes. Like, terrible rubbing my eyes. So, excuse me again. That's it, y'all. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask us questions. We'll be more than happy to answer them as far as COVID-19. Subscribe and enjoy our life as we do it, and share.
All right, y'all. Like,
comment,
and subscribe,
and follow us on our social media.
Thanks for watching and all of your support.
Yes, sir.
Okay.